Okay, it is one of the easiest and interesting subject of your course. And before commencing the lesson, I would like to give a brief description about the syllabus of this subject. So in this subject we have 5 blocks, and each block carry 3 to 5 units in it. Okay, so let's start the lesson.
Okay.
Please turn off your mic, students.
Yes, it's on.
I'm requesting, please turn off your mics.
Dari baca apa?
So this is the book of your this subject, business communication. It is related to business and communication. Please turn off your mic, students.
It's on.
Thank you. Now, commencing the subject, before understanding the full name business communication, we first need to understand the word communication. Okay, so the first unit of our syllabus is Introduction to Communication. So, what is communication in your site? Anyone? What is communication? Any thought? I guess it's only
Communication
me. Yes. Okay. So
is
I'm the
a way
one.
to sending
Yes.
information to another person.
Yeah, exchanging the information, I guess you are trying to say.
Yes. Between one person
Yes,
to
yes.
another.
You are pretty much right. You are pretty much right. Good. So, in very simple word, what is communication? Communication is a way in which a person exchange their thoughts, information, any kind of fact, any kind of idea, their experiences about anything to another person. When we exchange these things to another person, then the communication happens. Okay, it's the most
Okay.
simplest definition of the communication, because it means imparting or exchanging of information by speaking, writing, using some other medium is communication. Communication involves minimum 2 person, maximum can be infinite numbers of people, but minimum it requires 2 person. How many person it requires? Two. At earlier ages, how do we communicate? We use old methods like letter writing, classical telephone, face to face interaction. All these methods are older methods of communication. But now these days the technology has so developed. Even we are talking here, we are doing a class on internet via Google Meet. Okay, this is a source of communication. This is an example of communication, how our information technology IT has developed. It make a revolution in communication. Okay, so communication is mainly of two type in any organization: internal communication and external communication. If we are talking about a business organization, then there are two types of communication. First is internal communication and second is external communication. As the name says, I'm giving you the example of this thing. I guess you all are aware about Amazon. We purchase stuff from Amazon's. Okay? So so on Amazon, when our about our product, what we do? We do call the customer care service. Okay, and their customer executive talks to us. So at that time, when their customer executive talking to us means we are their customers, then that is external communication. They are talking to someone outside their company. Okay, we are their customer, but we are not the part of their company. But when they discuss our problem with their authorities, with their seniors, with their co-workers, then that is known as internal communication. So the basic of this is when a person of organization communicate with their seniors, director, managers, CEO, co-workers, colleagues, and subordinates, then it is known as internal communication. And when they
Yeah.
do talk to suppliers, vendors, the retailers, their customers, and when they provide the data of their company to government, okay, and they share information about the public, then that is known as external communication. Is it clear?
Yeah. It is
Okay,
clear
good.
now.
Moving to the next topic, importance of communication. So why do communication is so important? Because we all are social beings. Its simple answer is we are social being. We need to communicate to run our day-to-day activities. No person is no person can do the activities without communication. They have to communicate either via language or via sign language. See, language is the core of communication. Language is the core of communication. Without language we can't communicate. It's not like
Yeah.
only the alphabetical language or written or speaking or writing language is necessary. Sign language is also a language. Okay, we can raise our hand to show that we want to ask something, and that is a sign language, that is a gesture now. So that's why language is the core of communication. So importance
Yeah.
of communication in business, if we think, then the first importance is building an effective team. Building an effective team only with the help of communication. Only with the help of communication we can create an effective team, because an effective team have the team members which have a which shares a bond with each other, which develop the mutual trust within the team. Okay, they coordinate with each other. They coordinate with each other. Building an effective team is the importance of communication. Suppose there are two teams. There are two teams, team A and team B. Team A, team A don't cooperate with their team members. Team A members don't cooperate with each other, don't communicate, and they don't have mutual trust on each other. And team B have mutual trust. They cooperate, they coordinate, they communicate. Then, which team will achieve their goal faster? Of course team B will achieve their goal faster because they have the coordination. And from how they achieve that coordination? Via communication. Okay, imparts everyone a voice. Communication imparts everyone a voice. How? It boosts their self-esteem, it boosts their self-confidence. A person with good communication skill can talk to anyone. They are so self-esteemed, they have confidence, so it imparts everyone a voice. Seed of innovation. Communication is the seed of innovation. When you exchange the ideas, innovation starts. Okay, because we are providing exposure to people to communicate in business. When you give the opportunity to your employees in your business to give ideas and such suggestions, then the innovation will happen, because every brain is different, every brain thinking is different. They can give new suggestions which can lead to new innovations and strategies. Okay, fast remedial action and effective communication network help in identifying and malfunctioning in system at any level. Okay, when you communicate directly to the person, then the remedial action can be taken easily and in fast way. You don't need to communicate, you don't need to wait for the actions. In today's time, if I have a problem in my business, then what will I do? I will mail to my senior, and they will respond to me as fast as they can. So the fast remedial action can be taken in business. Perfect coordination, I already said it, that coordination can be achieved by communication. And importance of communication, it as it develops a healthy working environment for the team members. If a business have a efficient communication, then the healthy working environment will be there. Okay, communication develop trust among each other. It boosts confidence of the people. These are the common importance of the communication. Okay, now moving to the next topic. Am I clear till now? Is there any problem? Anyone?
No problem. So far, so good.
Okay, thank you. Process of communication. We are here at the process of communication. So, before moving to the process of communication, first let me tell you the components of communication. As I told you before, that for communication we need minimum two people. Minimum two people, out of which one is sender. In simple language we say it, we call it sender, and the other one is receiver. Suppose you and your best friend is talking, then you are initiating the conversation. Okay, sender is initiating the conversation, you are initiating the conversation, so you became the sender in this situation. Okay, and your best friend becomes the receiver of this conversation. So sender, receiver, encoding, decoding, message, feedback, and spatially channel. These seven are the channel. These seven are the components of communication. I'm repeating: sender, message, encoding, decoding, receiver, channel, and feedback. Okay, I'm explaining it to you one by one. So, who is a sender? Sender is the person who breaks the ice. In simple language, he is the person who breaks the ice, who start the conversation, who originates a message. Okay, a sender is a person who have a thought, a idea, so he or she can convey it to receiver. Understood? Now
Yeah.
coming to the message, when we have a thought, when we have a thought, then we have a message. Basically, the message is the subject matter of communication. What is it? Subject matter of communication. We have an idea in my mind, and what I do right is the message, is the message. So basically, it's the subject matter of communication. A message is the information, idea, thought, or opinion the sender wants to send to receiver. Okay. Now coming to the encoding, it is the crucial point, very important encoding. So encoding is when you have we have a sender, a person who wants to send a message. Okay, we have a sender and a message. Now that person will encode that message. How will he encode the message? Basically, he will turn that message into a language, suitable language, which the receiver also know. Suppose I have a message. Okay, I know two languages, Hindi and English. Hindi is my native language and English is the international language I know. So I have a message to convey to you. So I am encoding my thoughts and channelizing and writing the stuff in English language. Then I convert my thought in a language by writing words, sentences, paragraphs, or making it in a code like 1, 2, 3. Then that process is known as encoding. Am I clear till now? Is
Yeah.
encoding clear? Okay. Now coming to the important part, channel. Channel is something via which we want to send our message. Which method we want to use to send a message. So first channel is channel have different parts, and first of is face to face communication channel. face-to-face communication channel. You and
Okay.
your best friend or your colleague, you and your colleague are sitting in the same room and you want to convey a message to your colleague, then what you would do, you will just say your message to his face. That is known as face to face communication. That is known as face to face communication. Now face to face can on be Skype also, because it giving us the opportunity to see the face of the person we are sending the message. Okay, on WhatsApp video calls, we all the video calls are providing us the mean of face to face communication. Okay, moving to the
Yeah.
second channel, mobile communication. Mobile communication, basically when we talk over the mobile, it is known as mobile communication. Even the face to face communication is does come under the part of mobile communication when we do Skype, Google Meet, Zoom, and other stuff like this. Okay, electronic communication channel. Electronic communication, as all our devices are electronic these days. All our devices are. Okay,
Yeah.
either it is laptop, phone, computer, tabs, etc. And we use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, calls, video calls, all these things. Whenever our message is sent via using the electronic device, then that come under electronic communication channel. Broadcast media communication. Broadcast, as the name says, when we want to reach to a mass public, okay, huge public, then we use this method. TV is the source of broadcast media. Radio is the source of broadcast media. Nowadays radio,
Yeah.
okay, written method communication. In our business, sometimes a boss or authority, CEO or board of directors set some rules for our business, okay, for our organization. What they do to uh, what they do to convey the rules of the organization. Sometimes they send it on the email, but sometimes what they do, they uh, they use a memo. They use a memo and notice and paste it on the notice board. That is known as a written method of communication. Okay, I guess. Okay, now moving to the next component, which is receiver. See, receiver is the person to whom we want to send a message. Receiver is the person to whom we want to send a message. And the receiver do three things mainly. First is reception of the message. Means receiver receive the message clearly. Okay, you should take care of channel as well. Suppose you have a message and you want to convey it to your friend, then you will think, does your friend use Instagram, does your friend use WhatsApp? Maybe
Mm.
or maybe not, he or she not using those applications. Then what would you do? You go to the mail. Okay, then you email it. The channel must be something which receiver and sender share. Okay, so reception of message is important. That message should be received by receiver. It's the first step receivers do. Then same like encoding, they do decoding. The thought we converted in a language. They read that language easily. They read that language easily. Suppose you know two or three languages. Okay, and you write a message to your friend in one of the language he or she doesn't understand, so can he or she decode the message? No, you have to write your message in that language that your friend is a knower. Okay, so you have to decode the message. Receiver has to decode the message, and after decoding he understand the message, what the message trying to say, what actual the meaning. Okay, after understanding the meaning, they respond to you. They give you a feedback. Feedback means they give a response to your thought, like it's a good idea, it's not practical, whatever it is. The response can be there, but they have to provide a response, and this channel goes on and on and on, and make a communication channel, and it is also known as process of communication. Is this clear?
Yeah, no.
So I'm repeating it in very short form. So first, sender have a thought. Okay, sender is the person who sends a message. Then he writes. He have a message. Okay, which is the content of the communication. Then he or she encode that message in a language. Okay, and then they use the channel to send the message, and later on receiver receives the message, then they decode the message. After decoding they understand it and give you the feedback, and this process of conversation smoothly goes. Okay, now barriers to communication. Sometimes when we do communication there is a hindrance, and our communication breaks, our conversation stops in between, and we couldn't complete our conversation. It happens many times. Okay, so these are called as the barriers of communication. We broadly divide barriers into three parts. First is personal, second is environmental, and third is mechanical. First is personal, second is environmental, and third is mechanical barriers. So, personal barriers. Personal barriers are also sub-classified into two parts: interpersonal or intrapersonal. So, first moving to the personal barriers. Please turn off your mic, sir. So, please turn off your mic, students. Please cooperate. Personal barriers. Yeah. So we have two personal barriers, which is intrapersonal and interpersonal. Intrapersonal, as the name says, intra is the word. So there is a difference between intra and inter. Intra means with self. Okay, intra means with self, and intra conversation means when a person talking to self. That is known as intra. And inter means when we talk in intercommunication means when we talk to someone else, then that is intercommunication. Okay, intrapersonal is the barrier. Intrapersonal communication barrier is the barrier when a person limits himself. Okay, the problem is within the person. So we divided the intrapersonal communication in 4 to 5 parts, out of which first is physiological barrier. Physiological barrier, it means when a person is dysfunctions, like a person have problem of stammering, they have a difficulty in hearing, they have poor personality, or maybe a person is unable to hear. Then there's a problem in the body. Okay, dysfunction, that is known as physiological barrier. Psychological barrier. Psychological barriers deals with the personal phobias, like a person can have a stage phobia, they can be nervous while talking to others. Shyness, due to shyness many people can't communicate. Okay, due to inferiority complex many people can't communicate. So these all are the problems of psychological barrier, because these all are in mind. People feel shy, people get nervous, people have stage phobia, and etc. Attitudinal barrier. Some people are introvert and some people are extrovert, and we have a social term as well, which is ambivert. If you have heard of this, introvert, extrovert, and ambivert. Introvert are those person who don't want to communicate to anyone. So Every people have a different attitude. Every person has a different attitude, and they behave accordingly. So attitude of a person can be a communication barrier. A person who's suffering from introvert can't able to do communication sufficiently, okay, smoothly. But a person who is extrovert can communicate easily with people and attract people at the same time. It enhances the personality of a person. Emotional barrier. Emotions can play a big role while communicating. See, if someone have a stage phobia and you ask that person to go on stage and say something, what would they do? If they are emotionally unstable, they will start crying at the stage. Okay, then there is emotions are working, emotion becoming the barrier for your communication. Perceptual communication, perceptual barrier. Perceptual barrier means people have different perception about same situation. Okay, people coming because people coming from different backgrounds, social, cultural, family, and friends, etc. and etc. So people share a different perception, and this can also be a barrier of communication. Is this clear? Personal barriers, intrapersonal barrier. I'm taking it as a yes. Moving
Sorry,
forward.
before we proceed, there's someone's mic is on. I think the name is Apu. When you're explaining, at times you're getting background noise from him. So if you could kindly turn off his mic, thank you.
Please turn off your mic. So, is it okay now?
Yes, this is better. Thank you so much.
Okay. Interpersonal barriers. So, interpersonal barriers are outside an individual's own self. As I said earlier, inter, the word means outside the individual. Okay. Here, the person is not the problem, but outside environment is creating a problem while communicating. So, first is cultural barrier. We are coming from different cultures, okay, we share different culture, so that's why sometimes culture become the barrier in communication. Okay, linguistic barrier. Language can be a barrier, as I gave you the example earlier, that language can be a barrier to your communication. You know, we have 7,000 languages in this world, and no person can know all the languages we communicate in this world. So language is was always the barrier, and it is always the barrier, and will always be the barrier for communication. But by using some technology, we can reduce the level of linguistic barrier, but not remove this barrier. It can be reduced, but not removed completely. Okay. Ethical barrier. Ethical barriers, listen, some people, the salesperson, they have to sell because their salary comes out of the profit. Okay, even if the goods they are selling is not of good quality, but they have to exaggerate the usefulness of their product. So these are the ethical barriers, because some people, due to their ethics, don't exaggerate the product. Okay, there comes the ethical barrier of the communication. Hierarchical of status barrier. Sometimes CEO of a company don't want to talk to the employees, and same goes with the employees. Employees don't have authority to talk directly with their CEO or board of directors of a company. So this is known as hierarchical of status barrier. Are we clear till here? Okay, I guess yes. Environmental barrier. Moving forward to the environmental barriers. So the barriers that are coming in our outside factors, that's such as environment, those barriers are known as environmental barrier. Physical barrier is the first type of barrier. Yes, when our natural condition affects our communication, then we consider it as the physical barrier. When consider it as a physical barrier, when our natural conditions or environment creates a hindrance in our conversation. And the first one is noise. Noise is the real barrier of communication. Have you ever went to talking in a wedding? There are too much noise. You can't talk properly in a wedding because there are too much noise. So that's how noise create a communication barrier. That's how noise hinder our communication. Technological problem. Technological problem can be real. Sometimes our networks go down, our internet connection broke down. So the technological problem is real. It disconnect us to communicate further. Okay. Chronometric barriers. Chronometric means when we delay in delivering of the message. When we delay our messages, means we don't sending the messages on time. That is chronometric barrier. Suppose you suppose you complaint about a product on Flipkart, okay, and your problem is not resolved for 3 to 4 days, and after fifth day when your product is delivered, they are trying to resolving your problem. Then what's the point of the resolution? Okay, that's how a chronometric barrier is working. They have to resolve your problem your product, before the time, your own time. Organizational barrier. Moving forward to the organizational barrier, poor communication facilities. In many organizations, due to lack of funds, we have poor communication facilities. We have outdated telephones, outdated computers, or fax machines, stationery, etc. and etc. Okay, even the employees are not who can do effective communication. So poor communication facilities. Complex hierarchical structure. Complex or rigid hierarchical structure, I would like to say here, because the person, we have to follow a chain there. In an organization, we have to follow a chain to convey our message from lower to upward or upward to lower. Here upward means the CEO or board of director, and lower means the employees of the company. Okay, the workers of the company. We have to follow this hierarchy, and to follow this hierarchy, it takes too much time to respond from this, to respond from our seniors to the junior, and our problem stays as like that. So yes, complex hierarchical structure. Cumbersome rule. It means we don't have free flow of information. Sometimes our business, our organization restrict the employees to communicate, or just give you a way to communicate. If, the business become rigid while communicating, so that's why the communication can't be done smoothly, and it creates a hindrance in communication. That's the meaning of cumbersome rule. Is it clear?
Yes, it's very clear.
Okay. Inefficient delivery network. See, sometimes it's not efficient that our documents are delivered to the concerned departments. Some departments have access to internet, some have not. Then it creates an inefficient delivery network. We can't send the documents to the department which do not have the access to the computer, laptop, internet, and etc. So this is known as inefficient delivery network. Moving to the point number 1.53, mechanical barriers. So, as the name say, it's the issue of products. Okay, mechanical barrier, transmission interruption, like problems in your computer and telephones, your machines. Okay, they can be outdated. They can be outdated. Like you are using a computer of 90s in these days, then what will it be useful of? Nothing. So outdated instruments should be replaced or maintained up to date. Okay. Power failure, most of the appliances work on power. Okay. Most of the appliances work on power. Then when the power fails, our appliances go shut down, and we and there it creates an hindrance in communication. Okay. How to remove communication barrier? Now we have known too much about communication barrier. Now we will discuss how we can remove communication barriers. To overcome physiological and psychological barrier, a personal physiological or psychological barrier, how can we remove it? See, if a person have a stammering habit, then we can give a speech therapy to that person. That can be curable. That is a curable. Okay, so we can provide a speech therapy to that person. If a person hear less, okay, difficult in hearing, so we can use a hearing aid. We can give a hearing aid to that person. That's how we can remove the hindrance of communication. To overcome interpersonal barriers, yes, interpersonal barriers, like when we use simple language, we should always use simple language while communicating to others, because it's it's not possible that every person you talk to know have a good hold of the language, have a good hold of the language. Then we should use simple language so that our message can be sent clearly to that person. Okay, and they can understand it without any interruption. Consistency of the message, that message should be strategized or objective based. Try to be a patient listener. If you are a good, only a good listener can be a good speaker. Okay, only a good listener can be a good speaker. So while communicating verbally, the sender and receiver are expected to be a good listeners, because before responding, if you are the receiver, before responding you have to listen the message clearly. Okay, moving to the next point, organizing workshop for intercultural interaction. If we organize workshop for intercultural interaction, then employees will get to know each other, their cultural background. Okay, they can become friends, they can coordinate with each other. Okay, consult before communication. Sometimes we have, it's necessary to consult the person that they are comfortable to communicate, or is it the right time to communicate. So consult before communication. Simpler hierarchical setup, the hierarchical setup, like the boss to employee, it should be simple, not too restrictive, and it should be flexible too. It should be flexible too. To overcome environmental, organizational, and physical barriers, how we can overcome environmental, organization, and physical barriers? Use of modern instrument. If we are using up to date instrument, then we have very less chances to hindrance in our communication. Effective inside delivery system. An effective delivery system in organization is essential, so that written messages received in the reception section are promptly and judicially delivered to the person concerned. Okay, to overcome technical problem, the technical problem can be overcome after this. Technical problem, if we resolve our technical problem, then we can remove the hindrance of communication. Okay, moving to the next point, principle of effective communication. So these are some principles of effective communication. Clarity of ideas. Before sending any message or any idea to the receiver, a sender should verify the thing or check the fact before before sending their message. means the idea or thought or your message should be clear. Okay, fact check. And clear means it should be understandable. First, to fully to inform himself. Appropriate language. Use of appropriate language. Sometimes when we talk to a family, we use different language. When we are in a formal setting, we use different language. So appropriate language should be used. Okay. Consistency. Again, one should try to avoid too many things at a time. You should communicate only one thing at a time so that you don't confuse the receiver. Adequate information. You should provide the facts only, not something like unfact checked things to receiver. Proper time. Communication should reach the receiver at the proper time, as we discussed earlier, the example of Flipkart. Like, it should be delivered to the receiver at the proper time. Draw attention. It should be attractive that when you are giving a statement or you are providing your ideas to the receiver, then the message should be attractive. The words should be good. Okay. Touch of informality. A touch of informality here means like be. I'm not saying that be become the buddy of your colleagues or your boss. No, no, no. It's like just a touch of informality, not like completely being buddy of your boss, like yeah, hey, and all. Not like that. Consultation. You should consult before sending any message to the receiver. If you are sending it to in your business or your business partner, then you should consult your authorities before sending the message. Feedback. You should wait for the feedback of receiver so that you can proceed accordingly further. This unit is complete. Is there any problem in this unit? Otherwise, we are going to move forward for next unit.
Yeah, no, it's actually clear.
Sorry.
No, you asked if there's any question concerning the same topic. I'm saying it's actually clear. The message, the explanation is very clear. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay. Types of communication. This is the second unit of first block. Types of communication. Okay. So mainly we have two types of communication. Now you will say, you told earlier that internal and external communication. Those are also the type of communication, but those are the type of business communication. Okay, these are the type of normal communication. Communication as in a word. Okay, verbal and non-verbal communication. So, in verbal communication, what we do, we use a language. Wherever we use a language, words, particular language uh, for passing a message, then we are using a verbal communication. We further divide verbal communication in four parts. First is oral communication, second is written communication, third is visual and audio visual communication, and the fourth one is silence. We are moving to the first point of verbal communication, which is oral communication. I personally gave a name to oral communication, which is LSR, LS rule. LS means, see, before commencing this lesson, I would like to inform you about language. Because language is the core of communication. Every language in this world have four steps. First is listening, second is speaking, third is reading, and fourth is writing. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing. It's in chronological order. You can't skip it first to third. It's like listening, speaking, reading, and writing. If I talk about a child, then a child first start to listen. First he listens a thing, then he or she start responding that listening. Then they start writing, which they learn in school. Then they start reading, and then they start writing. Writing is the last part and most difficult part of any language, and the most easiest and first part of any language is listening. Okay, a person who can't listen can't speak. A person who can't read can't write. I'm repeating it again. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing. A person who can't listen can't speak, and a person who can't read can't write. Am I clear? So, I have gave a name to the oral communication, which is LS rule. LS means listening and speaking rule. As the name say, oral. What we do in oral communication? We either we listen or we speak. Sender speaks and receiver listens, and this flow or process continues and goes on and on. So this oral communication is LS rule, out of which one is a speaker and one is a listener. When we talk to the person like face to face or on telephone, like video chats, television, radio, chat, and other things, Skype, WhatsApp, Google Meet, Zoom, and etc. things, then that is considered under as oral communication. Am I clear about oral communication? A person listen and speak. Clear?
Yes, you're very clear.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, advantages of advantages of oral communication. Oral communication have so many advantages. Like it is flexible. It's like you're talking to a buddy. Please turn off your mics. Quick feedback a person or receiver can give to you, and it is helpful for teamwork. We use it in our day-to-day life. Even right now we are doing oral communication. I'm speaking, you are listening, and you are responding to. So this is the part of oral communication, and it is helpful for teamwork. It is encouraging. It resolves the disputes quickly. Suppose if I'm talking to a person and there is a misunderstanding happens during our conversation, what will I do? I will just try to resolve the conflict. Okay, I will say sorry or whatever, or I didn't mean to say that. Whatever I need to say, I will say it on directly to them. Then this makes this resolution of dispute very quick. Okay, best for confidential exchange of information. Suppose I want to inform only a particular person about a thing. So, what I do? I just make a call to them. I would just make a call to them and tell them whatever I need to exchange the information. It saves our time and other resources. It is flexible. Now coming to the disadvantages part. Disadvantages is it is informal. It is very informal. It has no proof. If you say to the third person, if you disclose your conversation to the third person, then the sender can say, I didn't say this thing because you don't have a proof of your conversation. You can't have a proof of your oral conversation. Okay, that's why it is less authentic too. It may consume long time in meetings. How long time? Because when we do talking, we do talk about other stuff as well. So the meeting time goes too far. Okay, require great attentive and receptivity. When I am talking to you right now, then you are required to be attentive, or receptivity is great, should be there. Otherwise, you will lack in information, and I will not say all the stuff. I will not explain all the stuff again and again. Okay, so that is the example of required great attentiveness. Uh, the receiver should be attentive at the time of speaker speak. Now, methods to improve oral communication. How can we improve oral communication? We can give a clear and confident, strong voice, speaking clear. Like am I clear? My voice is clear. You are understanding it. So the voice should be clear and audible to the receiver. This is the first rule of oral communication. Okay. Be coherent. Coherent means try not to distract your subject. If you want to talk about a particular thing, then talk about a particular thing only. That particular thing only. Don't divert the subject or talk about other stuffs. Avoid using filler words. Filler words like yeah, so uh, you have heard that so many people use while speaking. Then that is not so good for a good communicator. Then a person should avoid these kind of words. They can take a stop. Okay, if you require, then take a stop, take a break, but don't use these kind of words. Be an active listener. For being a good speaker, you have to be an active listener. This is the same, and it is proving here. You have to be active listener because listener part is not only listening the stuff, but also understanding what the speaker or sender trying to say. Okay, essentials of oral communication. Essentials of oral communication. Clear pronunciation. You should use clear pronunciation. Your words should be clear. Brevity, like you should use brief messages, not providing long sentences, long words. If your work completes in short messages, then let it be. Don't try to make it as long as possible. Okay. Precision, like only relevant issue or relevant topic or relevant subject should be discussed. Logical sequence means when if I'm telling you a story, so I should be telling you the first part first, middle part in between, and the end part in the end. It's not like if I'm telling you the end of the story first and telling you the first part of the story and end. It's not like that. You should try to talk in logical sequence. Okay. Conviction, it means oral representation should enhance confidence of the sender. Appropriate word choice. You should choose your words correctly, very correctly, because sometimes a word have different meaning. A word have different meaning, and when you use it in a sentence, sometimes the receiver receive it as a misconception, and they make a misconception about that thing. So we should use appropriate word for our conversation. Use natural voice. I think you may have seen many person, male or female, that changes their voice when they see a person. You should not do that. Okay, we should be in our normal voice. Communicate with right person. This is the first thing, and it means like if you want to send a message to your best friend, then only send your message to your best friend, not to the other. Sometimes you do na, we do a screenshot for our best friend, send the screenshot to the same person we are screenshotting. So that should not be done. Okay, communicate with the right person, otherwise situation will go ahead. Do not guide it by assumptions. Your conversation should be of facts, not made on the assumptions. Okay. Look for feedback. Always wait for the feedback from receiver. It's not like when you are conversation with your friend and you said whatever you need to said and you just cut the call. No, let them finish. Let them say what they have to say about the situation, your information. Okay. Allow to ask questions. Allow your receiver to ask question if there is any confusion, then you can clear that doubts. Is it clear? Can we move on written communication?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. Written communication. As the name says, we have discussed. two parts of the language, which is speaking listening and speaking. Now written communication is RW rule. RW means reading and writing. When we read by a book, like as we are doing right now, we are seeing book on our screen, so you are reading it. Okay, you are reading it from a book. And when you write stuff from this book, then that is reading and writing rule of the communication. When you write letters, write messages to your colleagues, your friends, your family, or whoever, then that is written communication. In a business, we use email, letters, memo, notices, which is considered as written communication. Advantages of written communication: it is a permanent record. We can use it for further references. It's not like that I have written a book and if you read it once, the pages will go blank. No, you can read it many times, as many times as you want. Okay. The sender can write and rewrite to make it error free. See, when we were doing oral communication, so a person said a wrong thing, then he or she have to apologize for that wrong thing. But in written communication, we have the opportunity to rewrite or reread what we have write before sending our message. Okay. The presence of sender and receiver is not required. When I am writing a message to my friend, then I don't require my friend to be on phone. No, I don't require her to be on phone. And when she is reading a message, then also she is not required to be me on phone. No, she will just respond to me. I will get the message and I will respond to her when the time I see. Okay. Sometimes there are complex matters that cannot be talked over a satisfactory manner. There are many matters we can't talk orally, so we write about these stuffs. This message can send to a large number of people. You write an email and you can send that email as many people as you want. Okay, so a large number of people can get that mail or that message can be conveyed to them. Disadvantages of written communication: it is time consuming. It is time consuming. If we compare it with oral communication, then it is time consuming because it takes time to write the stuff. Your writing should be grammatically correct. It demands a good hold on the language. Writing demands a good hold over the language. So it is difficult or a disadvantage for the people who don't have a good command on the language. A poorly written communication may create poor impression. And in written communication, feedback is not instant. Like in oral communication, the receiver responding me directly over the call, over the messages, wherever they are. But in written communication, when a person see message, then they respond as per their time. Okay, as per their need. If they want to respond, they respond. If they don't want to respond, they don't. So feedback is not instant in written communication. There is no personal touch like we used to communicate in oral communication method. There is no personal touch. So principles of written communication. Again, clarity. Clarity is needed in any kind of communication. Either it is oral or it is written or it is a sign language. Your message should be clear. Okay, means it should mean the same you want to say. It should means the same to receiver which you want to say. So your message should be clear. Completeness. Your message should be complete. You can't send a incomplete message to a colleague. Okay. Consideration, like that positive and pleasant facts you should write. You should show courtesy while writing, like generous, thank you, thanks, a favor, like an omission, apology for an omission. Okay. Correctness. The message should be correct, or your grammar should be correct while writing a message. Okay. Conciseness, again, brevity means your message should be concise, not too big. Is written communication clear to you guys? So we can move to the visual and audio visual communication. It is visual and audio visual communication. These are two different type of communication. First is visual and second is audio visual communication. Visual communication, as said, when I see a map of a country, when you see the map of your country, it tells you about the states and other things. Okay, so it is just a visual representation of your country, and you are getting that message after reading that, after viewing that map or a chart of a company. You are getting a message. But in audio visual, what we do when we see a YouTube video, then that is known as audio visual. A YouTube video is audio visual. Right now our conversation is also audio visual, because you can see the book on your screens, and also hearing hearing me explaining the stuff. Okay, that is known as audio visual. So visual and audio visual is a different thing. In visuals we only add stills, and in audio visual we have both audio and visual, like a movie. In movie we have video, visuals, and audio too. So advantages of visual and audio visual communication. It is popular. First of all, it is easy to understandable. Audio visual communication is very easy to understand. A person, it attracts a person when a thing is short and again speak by a sender, then it become interesting. Okay, so it is a popular type of communication too, like audio visual, like YouTube videos, they are very popular. TV, it's popular because they are providing you audio visual, they are communicating like audio and visuals. You talk on Skype, you talk on Google Meets, you do WhatsApp calls. What is this? This is audio and visual communication. So it is very popular. Support oral communication. Audiovisual communication supports oral communication. Okay, if I show you this graph only, then you understand it a little, but if I explain it to you along with showing this graph, then you will understand it in better way. Okay, easy presentation of complex data. With the help of audio and visual communication, we can easily present the complex data to our receiver. Like sometimes there are difficult subjects, okay, difficult topic. Nowadays what we do, we make a animation on that project, and also along with that a video explaining, along with that a audio that explains that matter. Then this is become an easy representation of this complex data. It is helpful for rural clients. Rural clients are somehow illiterate or semi-literate people as compared to urban. So they can understand visuals better than the oral. Okay, so we can use audio visual aid, audio visual communication there. It saves time. It saves times, as well as it is the disadvantages of this. It save times and it take time too. But let's see how. It save times because a large number of people can understand or see or visual the communication. It can go to the mass public at the same time. Okay, mark this point. We will discuss it in disadvantage too. Decision making is quicker as the data is presented visually. So the it is understood easily and more quickly than other methods. So we can make a clear decision or quick decision over any situation. It is helpful in publicity for a business. How they advertise, they use audio visual communication. They show a video of their product along with the audio on television. that is known as audiovisual communication. It is helpful in publicity. Now discussing some disadvantages of audiovisual. It is more expensive as it take huge funds to use audio and visual communication. To broadcast our advertisement on TVs, it takes huge amount of money to present it on televisions. So it is expensive than others. Time consuming. See, I said na, it is time saving and time consuming both at the same time. The person of preparing visual representation requires more time. It is time saving because we can send this message at a time to a huge public, okay, to a mass public. But also it requires much time to present, to create a visual representation, to make a video. It consumes more time to it. Is it understood? The difference is understood.
Yes, we've understood. It's very clear.
Okay. Sometimes more complex presentation of complex data through graphs and bar diagrams. When we present our data via diagrams or graphs, sometimes it makes person too difficult to understand if you are not providing an audio. Okay, in visual communication, if I say in particularly. Infrastructural problem. Many institutions or organization doesn't have an adequate facilities that support video communication. So yeah, infrastructural problem is also a disadvantages of this audiovisual communication. Moving to the next part, silence. I guess you all have heard about the saying like silence is the best answer on social media. I guess silence is the best answer until or unless it's an exam. Okay, don't stay silent in your exams. So, how can silence be a part of communication? You know, sometimes when your boss says something offensive and you stay silent, then it can save your job. If you stay silent, then you can save your job. Otherwise, you will lose it. So, silence can be a good answer to. Okay, advantages of communication. It saves us from embarrassment. Sometimes we don't understand the situation properly and we speak without understanding the situation, without knowing the situation completely, and we speak and be a part of embarrassment. But if we stay silent, then we can avoid this embarrassment. Self control. Silence increases the self control of a person. Attracts appreciation. When a person stays silent, then it is a part of appreciation. Other employees appreciate this silence, other people appreciate this. Give time to think. When we stay silent, then we have time to examine the situation. Okay, when we stay silent, then at that time we can examine the situation clearly before responding it. Sometimes it is more effective. Like, the more a man speaks, the less he is understood. It is a remark by Abraham Lincoln that the more a man speaks, the less he understood. So sometimes it is more effective. What are the disadvantages of silence? Some people may think you are rude, you are not responding. Some people may think you may infer as lack of confidence, you don't have confidence to speak. Okay, some people may understood your silence as shyness. Some people think that you are shy, you are of shy nature, you can't communicate with people, you can't respond to people. Sometimes people may bully you because of your because they think that is a sign of a weakness. Silence is a sign of weakness, but it is not. Moving to the next topic, which is non-verbal communication. We have done verbal communication till now. Now moving to the non-verbal communication. So body language, non-verbal communication is divided in many points or many subcategories. So out of this, first point is body language, which is also known as kinesics. Okay, kinesics communication. How a body language communicate? You know, when we do gestures, facial expressions to a person, they understand what we are trying to say. That is known as a verbal communication. We don't use, basically, in non verbal communication, we don't use any language, at least written language. Okay, a language which is bounded with grammar, which have listening, speaking, reading, and writing stuff. No, we only use gestures, facial expressions, and sign languages. That's how we communicate via non-verbal communication. So first is kinesics. Kinesics means when we use our body language to communicate with others. See there in first picture, this employee is looking tired. Okay, now see his expression. He put his hand on his face. It's like, I'm sorry. Okay, now see this girl. She is holding her hands and joining it, and it's making a request. It's a sign of please or praying. Okay, now see this girl. What is she doing? She have her hand behind her ear, and this is the sign of I'm all ears. I'm listening. Okay, she didn't. They didn't speak a word, but we know what they mean because of their body languages. We understand body language too, which is kinesics. Moving to the next part, facial expressions. Facial expression of a person tells us about how they are happy, they are sad, they are fear, or they're fearing, or they are suffering from anger. Okay, these all can be told by facial expressions. See this person here. See the face of this person. He's looking very happy. Okay, he's angry. This person. This person again laughing. So we can tell about the facial expression, and I guess you know too many people in your family that how their facial expressions change when you start conversing, when you start conversation with your family members. Okay, you read facial expressions too. Everyone reads facial expressions. So we communicate via facial expressions too. Posture. Posture is a way of a person stand or sits. That's how a person standing, how a person is sitting. So it comes under the posture. How can posture tell us about a person? Postures basically it tells us about the confidence level of a person. If a person is confident, then he should be walking like holding his height, holding head high, keeping the gaze at the eye level of people. Okay, and relaxed legs and arms while standing or while sitting. So there is a difference between confident and non-confident posture. We can tell about the confidence level of a person uh, by measuring their posture. See, this this person sitting here, okay, he's bending forward. His confidence is not so good, but his confidence is looking good. You know, when you go in an interview, these all things matter. How you are sitting, how you are standing. Are you confident enough to sit? Are you confident enough to stand? Are you nervous? It is shown to the interviewer by your posture. The interviewer examines these things. Now moving to the point gestures. See, gestures is another level, another non-verbal communication. How do we do gestures? We do thumbs up. We wave a hand for our friends who is standing far away. Okay, we do thumbs up to the person, which is like okay sign or like good, and other gestures, hand gestures to the person we talked. And sometimes we show our hand to the person like don't talk. So what are these? These are gestures. No words are said from our mouth, but the person, the receiver, understood what we are trying to say, so they do accordingly. Touch, which is also known as haptics, like touch, like we do handshakes with people, we do handshake. Sometimes our boss or our teacher pat on our shoulder as a sign of encouragement. That is also a touch communication, haptics communication. Okay, now coming to the point, proxemics. Is it clear? Non-verbal communication till here?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay.
That's clear.
Proxemics. Okay, thank you. Proxemics. What is proxemics? Basically, proxemics is a human space and distance we create while doing a communication, while communicating. You know, we stand far, we stand far from our employees or from our students as to communicate. So basically, proxemics is a human space or distance while we do communicating with people. Like, it can be public space. Public space should be of 12 feet or more, 12 plus feet of distance between two person. Like a person, like a CEO of a company is trying to converse with an employee of a company directly, then they will maintain a 12 feet distance. Okay, this is known as public space. Or like a person, actor, or any speaker creating a distance of 12 feet and more, then that is known as a public space. Now, coming to the social space, it carries 4 to 12 feet difference between two persons while communicating, such as the distance we maintain in our classrooms, the distance we maintain in our board meetings. Okay, this is the 4 to 12 feet distance. It is a social distance, social space distance. Now, personal space. Personal space is 1.5 to 4 feet distance. When we talk to our colleagues as friends, when we maintain 1.5 to 4 feet distance with them. When we talk to our colleagues, friends in a friendly nature. Okay, and the last one is intimate space. It is less than 1.5, like our family, when we hug our family, closest friend like best friend, intimate partners, and others. Moving to the next point, appearance and artifacts. See, appearance and artifacts communicates too. You have heard of this saying, first impression is the last impression. Yes, that is true. A personality of a person talks about their, if we see their looks, how they dress up, what's their physique, weight, and other stuff, other factors, personality, appearance, and other things, then this is the way of communicating too. We can tell a person by looking that this person is confident by his appearances, by his or her appearances or artifacts. Normally, it is seen in studies a person with good physique, personality, have a good communication or appearance over the receivers. Okay, they stay more confident than the other person. And it is important to wear clothing appropriate to the occasion. Like if you are going to a wedding, you are dressing accordingly. If you are going to a formal meeting, you will dress accordingly to that occasion. Paralanguage. Paralanguage means, like, when we do communicate, we do think about speech, our tone, our pitch go high and low. Okay, our accent changes. people's accent, people tone, people's pitches, and etc. These stuffs come under paralanguage. When we change these things, when suppose I'm saying a sentence to you guys, then I uh, put a pressure on a specific word like paralanguage. Then the pressure shows that this is important. So this is the part of paralanguage when we change, use our accent, okay, change our tone, our pitch, whispers or shout. So these are all the paralanguage stuff. This is how we communicate too. Sometimes we know if a person is shouting, we know that this is a fight. If some person on a road are shouting, we know that this is a fight. So that is a part of paralanguage. Moving to the next topic, effective non-verbal communication. See, how to be effective in non-verbal communication. First of all, avoid giving conflict signals. Means if you are giving a signal, then it should be clear-cut signal that will be understandable to your receiver. That will be understandable to your receiver. Try to be honest as possible as in communicating your emotions. Okay, smile genuinely. Means whatever you do genuinely. Don't fake it. Otherwise, that person, the receiver, will know about it. And always maintain an eye contact with your audience. It is the good sign of non-verbal signal. And if you want to look confident, then always do eye contact with your audience experts. Be aware of your posture. Your posture should be correct. The gestures you use should be correct. Okay, and you can adopt a handshake, and you should use the touch only when it is appropriate, when it is required and appropriate. And respect your audience comfort zone. Should talk only about those things that your audience like, and avoid those things that your audience won't like. So these are all the part of effective nonverbal communication. This unit is also complete. Can we can we move to the next unit? Is it clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Yes, it is. Okay. So the next unit is an introduction to business communication. Now we have discussed all about the communication. We came to the business communication. So first of all, tell me what is business. Anything you know about business. I'm not asking for a complete definition of business. Anything you know about business. Anyone? Anyone would like to take the stage? Okay, I guess so. Let me tell you what is business. Basically, what is business in very simple words? Buying and selling is business for the purpose of earning profit. Buying and selling a product or service is business, and its motive is earn the profit. So we can conclude it like that. And business is an economic activity that involve buying or selling and production of goods and services with a motive to earn profit. With a motive to earn profit. I'm repeating it. Business is an economic activity that involves purchasing, selling, and production of goods and services with a motive to earn profit. Is it clear?
Yeah, it is clear now.
Okay. So, what is business communication? As we know the term business, now we know the term communication too. So, all the communication which is related to your business is business communication. All the communication which is related to your business activities is known as business communication. It is as simple as that. Communication is the expression. Business communication is the expression, channeling, receiving, and interchanging of ideas in commerce and industries. Business communication is the expression. We express, channelize, or receive interchanging ideas in commerce, basically in business, industry, organizations. This is the easy definition. Business communication as a process in which business related ideas, plans, strategies, messages, etc. are exchanged among different stakeholders, namely manufacturers, suppliers, retailers, buyers, government, and agencies, and the public too, if it's a public company. It is not mentioned here, but I'm telling you it's public too. Okay. Any exchange, it there is the simplest definition of business communication. Any exchange of information concerning business between two or more stakeholders is business communication. Is business communication. Now I am giving you the examples. Suppose we are doing business in partnership. Okay, when we communicate about our business to each other, then we are doing a business communication. Okay, our employees are discussing how they want to deal with the situation, how do they want to do work with each other. Then they are doing a business conversation, a business communication. When we talk to our customers, when we talk to our customers, then also we are doing a business communication. When we are talking to the government about our business, like paying taxes and showing them the uh, revenues of our company, then it is also business communication. Okay, is business communication clear?
Yeah, it is clear.
Okay, now moving to the characteristics of business communication. So it is formal. It's not like the normal conversation. When we are communicating in a business enterprises, in a business environment, then it should be a formal language. Okay, it is a formal thing. So business communication is formal. We use a formal language while communicating with each other. Employees use formal language while communicating with their seniors, subordinates, coordinates, and others. There are no personal feelings or emotion. As business doesn't carry any personal feeling or emotions, also business communication doesn't carry any personal feeling or emotion. If two employees of my company is talking about their home, okay, it's not like employees can't be friend. Employees can be friend, but they can be friend outside the business. In my business, they are my employees and they have to do business communication. Okay, it deals with business related matters only. Those matter who doesn't which those matter which doesn't relate to our business is not considered as business communication. Okay, like I just told that employees are talking about their families, so that doesn't come under business communication. The matter should be related to the business only while communicating a business communication. It is objective. Our whole business is objective based. We follow a goal in our organization. We are doing a business uh, for a goal, to achieve our goal. So it is also our business communication also is tend toward our objective, whatever objective we have set. And in this there is example is given. The objective of bookseller to procure the books for become and their in letters. This objective is focused by giving the list of the books. Okay, the example is there, so I'll skip this example and give you my own example. It is objective like our business objective is to earn money. Okay, to achieve the target of 100K or 1 lakh, 1 lakh turnover. So our conversation should be Goal oriented, our conversation should be goal oriented, or it runs around our goal. Okay, we should discuss our goal. It should, the conversation should be like that, which facilitate our goal, which help us to achieve our goal. It means that it is in a certain format, like business conversation stays in a format like you have to learn about how we do write a business letter, how to we style a business letter, how we inform or write an email in a business to our boss, to our subordinates, to our colleagues. It it gives or elicits some information. Business communication is objective, it touches the specific point. Example, if a retailer wants to know the features of a new product of company, then the production manager will describe only those features of the product. If, on the other hand, marketing manager wants to know the response of customers for their new product, the marketing team will give only that information in their response. Means whatever information is asked, only give that information. Don't exaggerate it from your side. Clear cut to cut information you should give to the person who's asking for it. It may be kept as legal evidence if some dispute arises in future. Okay, business communication is a legal evidence, like it is in a written form basically. So we can use it in a dispute, evidence as a legal evidence. We can show it to the court. Okay, in order to elaborate certain points, table, graphs, photographs, etc. may be used. Like all those tables, graph, photographs related to business. What is this? This is the characteristics of business. Like we do make graphs, either it is a pie graph, pie charts, bar graphs, and other type of graphs, and photographs and tables to show our business activity, to show our profit, to show our uh, turnover. So we do make business charts and all, and this is the type of business communication too. A business communication has following characteristics. First of all, objectivity. Like we have an object, we have an objective in a business. We have a definite objective in a business, a definite goal in our business. Then our business, all our business communication is directed toward that goal. We only want to achieve that goal. Okay, we only communicate about to how to achieve that goal. So the objectivity is the first characteristics. Clarity, the language we use in our business or organization, the language we use, it should be clear. Okay, whatever message we want to say to our colleague, our superior, our senior, or director or manager or whoever of the business faculty, the message should be clear. Means it should make it should be understandable to the receiver, whoever is the receiver. It should be understandable to the receiver. Brevity, it means the message should not be so long. Message should not be so long. Not long paragraphs, big sentences, no. The message should be concise. Okay? Only say whatever it is needed. Factual, in business when we talk, we always check facts about the information if we want to share an information. Like suppose it's the year end, financial year ends in March only. Okay, it's the year end and we want to show the turnover or the profits of the company to our employees and all. Then we have to check a factual background. We have to check the fact that the digit we are showing to our company or anyone, is it right or not. We have to double check it. So it should be factual, should be based on facts. No assumption should be made in business communication. Practical, like why, how, when, and the like queries. It should be practical. When we are communicating, then one should be practical while explaining why, how, when, and the like queries. Unnecessary detail in practical and imaginary plans should be avoided. Persuasive and courteous, as we learned it earlier, that the message, the language of communication should be persuasive. Now, an example is given in this book. The manager of a wholesale outlet finds, here it is, if you are reading, then here it is. The manager of a wholesale outlet finds that a particular retailer has not cleared its outstanding bill and send a letter to the retailer. It will be helpful in a sentence like, "You are a valued customer of ours and we have always enjoyed our business relation with you. Probably due to oversight, our previous bill number XYZ dated 21/2019 amounting rupees of 15,000 is still pending at your end. It will be helpful if you could please clear it an early date." You see, here you can learn that the message is said, the message is conveyed, it's conveying its purpose, but the manner, the manager took of saying this, like, "Your payment is not done, please make it clear." It's harsh if you say so, but he write it so well, like, "You are a valued customer of ours and we have always enjoyed our business relationship with you, probably due to oversight." Okay, it's a kind of you have to show courtesy in your language, business language. It should not be harsh or rude. Okay, it is dynamic. Like, the means, type, and tone of business communication are dynamic. Means it keeps on changing according to the situation. As the new situation arises, the business communication or the need of communication changes. The tone changes. Suppose there is a fire in your business. There is a fire in an organization. How would you like to employees to respond? Stay silent? Of course not. They'll start shouting and let everyone know about the fire, and they get out from the premises as soon as possible. So it is dynamic. It keeps on changing. It keeps on changing with the situation. But shouting during a fire is okay. It's a natural tendency. But shouting during a normal situation is not suitable. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So you have to communicate according to the situation and change your business communication according to the situation. It is continuous. Business communication is continuous. Like, sender sends a message, then what would you do? You respond to the person, like manager asking for a report. What would you do? You will provide a report. Okay, then that is a continuous process. When you provide a report, the manager asks you about other work. So this is a continuous, the business communication is continuous, goes on and on. It may be internal or external. As I told you earlier, we have two types of business communication. First one is internal and another one is external. I don't think so we need to discuss it here only. We have time. We will discuss it later, okay, in this unit only. Specific, your communication should be specific. It is on time. Okay, it should support a specific activity and purpose. So these all are the characteristics of business communication. Is it clear? Can we move on the next topic?
Yeah. Come.
Okay. Types of business communication. As we discussed a small part of it earlier, uh, are you? Can I ask what is internal communication? Anyone wants to explain it? Because we discussed it earlier. I'm not asking for proper definition. Whatever you understand, you can say.
My internal communication, it means like to communicate within the company or the place where business is when done.
Very well done. Very well done. You are pretty much right. Internal communication means when you do communication within your organization, like talk to your superiors, your manager, your directors, your CEO, your colleagues, your co-workers, okay, your employees, your subordinates. When the company's organization persons or employees, whoever is working within the organization, are talking to each other, are having a conversation with each other, is known as internal communication, is known as internal communication. But when the internal members of a company, all the members of a company, or one out of them, is talking about the company to someone else or someone outside the organization, such as retailer, okay, vendors, customers, government, or public, then that is known as external communication. That is known as external communication. So, we are here. Internal communication may be defined as as I said it. Let's read the examples. The CEO of a company announces bonus to all the employees. He or she will send this information through internal communication channel. It flows vertical from top to bottom and bottom to top. In internal communication in any business, we follow a chart. Basically, we follow a hierarchy. Okay, some is downward hierarchy and one is upward hierarchy. Downward hierarchy is transmit when a higher authority wants to send a message to the workers or lower field of the workers, then that is known as downward flow. When, for example, when a CEO of a company wants to send a message to the worker, okay, the hierarchy he or she follow to convey their message to the workers, that is known as downward flow. They don't go to the workers directly, okay, they don't go to the workers directly or tell them to do what to do. No, what would they do? The CEO tells their general manager, CEO convey the message, CEO of a company conveys the message, whatever he wants, he or she wants to say to the workers, conveys the message to the general manager. Okay, now it is the message for production workers. Okay, suppose it is the message for production worker. Now, general manager of a company will think which manager he should tell. So he will tell production manager. He would convey the message to the production manager. If I'm saying, see here, this line is the CEO. Suppose, let me do this. The line I have highlighted that's instructing about concentrating on a particular area, it is written as CEO. Okay, it is written as a CEO. I'm saying suppose it is written as a CEO. Okay, suppose
Okay,
it is a CEO, because I am following this path. Okay, this path, I'm making it like
okay,
here, like it is a CEO. Now under this there is a general manager. Here it is a general manager which take care
okay,
of
okay,
production, selling, marketing, finance manager, production manager, selling manager, and marketing manager. Okay, all these type of manager. Now the general manager know whom to send the message, because the message is for the production workers. Now the general manager will send the message to the production manager. Now we come to the figure. Okay, this is the production manager. Now what production manager will do? Production manager will convey the message downward to the assistant production manager.
okay, okay.
Okay, they will he or she will convey the message to the assistant production manager. Now what assistant production manager will do? It He or she will convey this message to the production supervisor, who is the supervisor of the production. Okay, now the production supervisor convey that message to the workers. So from the CEO, from the CEO to the workers, the message is conveyed in a hierarchy. And what is this hierarchy? CEO, downward, general manager, downward, production manager, downward, assistant production manager,
Some production
downward, then
manager,
production supervisor,
production
then
supervisor.
workers. Is it understood?
Yeah,
Okay. So
Yes.
when the when the CEO use these downward flow, because when they want to provide a feedback or want to give an instruction to the members of the company, okay, it could be possible he wants to send a message to the production supervisor. Okay. Or it could be possible that production manager wants to send a message to the production supervisor. So the channel will, the hierarchy will follow only three steps. Okay. We took example of six steps like CEO, general manager, production, third, and assistant production manager, fourth, production supervisor, fifth, and the worker is sixth. So we followed a six steps downward communication. Are we clear here? I guess I'm taking it as a yes. So, moving toward upward flow. Now, there is, suppose there is a problem in machinery. Okay, there is a problem in machinery. Workers are facing a problem in machines. So, they want to give their messages to the CEO, or they have a problem with their wages. May suppose workers have problem with their wages and they want to convey their message to the CEO. They want to convey their message to the CEO. But what they no, they don't go directly to the strike. First, they what they do? They do a warning. Okay, they will give a warning or a request letter to CEO. So, how this request letter will reach to the CEO? Worker sends this request letter to production supervisor. Production supervisor send it to assistant production manager. Assistant production manager says it to the production manager, and production manager says it to the general manager, and general manager says it to the CEO. When the flow of information goes upward, means from downward to upward, then this is known as upward flow of communication. Okay, it's just vice versa. Is this clear?
Yes, it's
yeah,
clear.
man. Yeah,
Okay. Now coming to the horizontal flow. Now coming to the horizontal flow. In a business, we perform many activities. Okay, we do produce goods. We take care of sales. We take care of finance. We take care of marketing. Many activities are performed in a business organization. So, suppose a finance manager. There it is. No, it's not in the picture, but I'm talking about a finance manager, which who sees all the finance or provide all the finance to the other department. Okay, department have to say something to other departments. How will they convey the message? Like production. Suppose production wants some fund for the production. Okay, what would they do? They go to the finance manager. They go to the finance manager and ask for funds for their production. And production manager and finance manager respond to them that they will be able to provide funds or not. Okay. Similarly, when the goods are produced, they are sent to the quality control management. Suppose there is a problem. Suppose a problem in the product. There is a problem in a product. What would a quality control manager would do? They won't go to a general manager or CEO. No, they won't go. They will try to resolve the problem at their own. they go to production manager and ask that to improve the quality of that product, or rearrange it, or reproduce it. Okay, like that. So purchase manager and sales manager, when we talk at the same level, because purchase manager, production manager, finance manager, quality control manager, sales manager, and other managers are at the same level. When they are having a conversation about a business, it is known as horizontal flow. Okay, employees of a company, suppose the same level of employees working for a company, like call center I'm taking. Okay, everyone is on call. When they are communicating between them, then they are making a horizontal flow of communication. They are making a horizontal flow of communication. And what kind of communication they do? They A problem in a group can be sorted out quickly when they do horizontal flow. Okay, it inculcates a team feeling. It creates harmonious environment in groups. It saves time. Suppose the financial manager or quality control manager goes to the general manager for complaining, and general manager goes to the CEO for complaining, and then the CEO pass an order to general manager, and general manager pass the order to production manager. This hierarchy takes too much time. Okay, and it creates hurdles in business activity. So when we give responsibility to someone, we give authority to, so that they can manage some situation on their own. So quality control manager will directly talk to the production manager to resolve the problem. That's what I'm trying to say here. It encourages knowledge and experience sharing among colleagues. Sometimes it helps in resolving interdepartmental problems. When we do conversation between employees, suppose there's two employees having a conflict, when they do conversation, okay, when they do communicate, they start coordinating this, the misunderstanding go away, then the harmony will develop, then the interdepartmental problems can be solved easily and smoothly. Is it okay? Is it fine? Clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. Now coming to the diagonal flow. Now coming to the diagonal flow. It is the interaction between the manager of one department with worker of the other department. Like, see this diagram. Okay. Here is a general manager. Here is four supervisors: supervisor A, supervisor B, supervisor C, and supervisor D. Okay, and each supervisor have work persons. Four persons he have. Four persons he have. Four persons he have. I'm repeating it again. We have a general manager, and under general manager, four supervisors are working: supervisor A, supervisor B, supervisor C, and supervisor D. And each supervisor have a work personnel of four members. 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 Okay. So when suppose there is a dispute, okay, or someone wants to convey a message directly to the person of supervisor D's worker, what would they do? Supervisor C wants to convey a message, okay, to the D's worker. What he can do? Either he or she can go to the supervisor D and then he or she convey the message to the worker, or he or she can directly convey the message to the that worker. Are you seeing this slide? When supervisor C do communicate with worker of supervisor D, when supervisor C do communicate with the worker of supervisor D, then it is known as the diagonal communication, because he have authority of these workers, no these workers, but he or she directly communicate with it. Okay, so it makes a diagonal, it creates a diagonal, then it is called a diagonal flow of communication. Is this clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. So we have learned about four types of flow. First is downward, second is upward, third is horizontal flow, and fourth one is diagonal flow. These are the flows in the internal communication. Okay, and external communication. Okay, I guess it's time for the attendance. Please turn on your video for once so I can take attendance.
Sorry, what are we supposed to turn on?
You're supposed to turn on your video camera. Turn on your camera.
Okay, ma. Okay, ma.
I will screenshot and take attendance later. Okay. Please all at once. I guess others are not comfortable. Then it's okay. I'm taking screenshot like that. Okay. You can turn off your camera too, sir. You can turn off your camera, sir. Now,
Can
moving to the external communication. Anyone wants to tell about external communication? Anyone?
From the word external, I think it's business communication with workers that are not related to the company or that are involved with the business transactions of a certain company.
Uh, Sorry, your voice was not clear. Can you please repeat it again?
Looking at the word external, I think external communication is business
And
communication involving companies that are related to the works of a certain company. Like let's
okay,
say
you
two
are trying
different
to say
companies.
outsiders.
Yes,
When we communicate
outsiders.
with outsiders. Well, great. You are right. You are right. External communication. It is like external communication. When the business person communicate with others, outsiders like government, public, customers, retailers, vendors, then it is known as external communication. Let's deal with. Uh, I think we should drop the class here. I think we should conclude it here. No? So today we have learned about unit first, which is all related about the communication. Unit second, which tells us about the types of communication, and unit third we have discussed till internal communication. Okay, in next class probably will in next week of next Thursday basically. So we will discuss the external communication there. Okay, and for today we are concluding the class. Thank you for the support. You have been nice students. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Okay. I hope you all understand the class today. You understood, na?
Yes, we did. The information is a lot, but yeah, we understand what we can. The information has been quite a lot, so I think we just have to go through the notes again. But we understand most of the things.
You understand now? Okay. That's my priority. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, someone has actually raised his hand there.
Sorry, you can you please write the message? Whatever you're trying to say, please write it. I'm
Bye.
waiting for a message. You can write it. Yes, Benjamin. You're trying to say something?
Hello. Let me just talk to you.
Oh, are you writing, sir? Or else we can conclude the class. I guess I guess we are concluding the class. Okay. No one is writing. Okay. Okay, bye.
Goodbye,
Class is
man.
over. We'll meet in next week. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Hmm.
baya fashewa. Tare mana. Yelo da ya illata mutane fa kawai. Ka san matan nan ka san matan nan cire koren da zuwa yanzu. Ana magana shekara 5 ne ba. Matan nan da yanzu abin da ya ba sabon abu ne yayi. Shekara 5 ne. Ya yi mata treatment na operation. Ya cire koren bai sani ba. Shekara 5. To a yanzu ba an kai ta wani cinya ne ba. Sai da aka yi scanning. Ya ba ki da koda guda daya. Da aka yi ta da kodoji na duka. Allah kira mijin. Sai aka yi tunani a ina ta taba kwanci aka yi mata wani aiki amma ta operation sai a asibiti a mata operation ne to shi ne chief din ba suka tura a jiya kama yaron suka kira DSS suka shiga aka je aka rage din yalan sanadiyan bulo din abin kenan ya yi wa matan ya kan fadi da sai kuma shi da kan shafi wasu mutane da suke ci a garin akwai lista guda 3 da an kama wanda wanda suke kasar da shi wajen ba ni fito shi bane yake kuma shi an halatta kasuwar duniya a cikin rahoton saboda ana yawan shan giya yana lalata to shi na masu kasuwa